Adolf Hitler made many mistakes during World War II.
The eastern advance is faltering. My Führer, the flanks are exposed. Then reinforce them now, jawohl.
Some of them were catastrophic. He ignored advice from his own generals.
Mein Führer, the flanks are exposed. We must withdraw to defensible positions. No, we do not retreat. The orders stand.
He made emotional decisions during critical battles.
Kursk! No, Führer, the flanks are exposed. Victory demands sacrifice. Advance!
And sometimes, his stubbornness turned potential victories into devastating defeats. Many historians believe that if Hitler had simply listened to his generals more often, Germany might have won the war. But what if it went even further than that? What if Germany had better generals from the beginning? Commanders who avoided major mistakes.
Gentlemen, the eastern defenses. We hold here to avoid encirclement. Agreed, but supply lines are critical. We adapt.
Commanders who understood logistics, strategy, and timing perfectly. Commanders who could turn Germany's early victories into something permanent.
Our hold is firm. Now we fortify. Jawohl. The map shows key points. Deploy armor to the bridges. It will be done.
How different would World War II look if Germany's leadership had been smarter?
Our influence expands across Europe and into Africa. The Atlantic operations are proceeding as planned. Victory is inevitable.
And could that have changed the outcome of the entire war?
Die Operation beginnt in Europa. Die Atlantikrouten sind entscheidend. Die globale Expansion ist unausweichlich.
At the beginning of World War II, Germany had enormous advantages. Its army was modern, aggressive, and experienced. German tactics were revolutionary. Instead of slow trench warfare like World War I, Germany used a fast-moving strategy called blitzkrieg. Tanks, aircraft, and infantry attacked together in coordinated waves. The results were devastating. Poland fell in just a few weeks. France, one of the strongest military powers in Europe, collapsed in only 6 weeks. The speed shocked the world. Germany suddenly controlled most of Europe, and for a brief moment, it looked unstoppable. But Germany's success hid a dangerous problem. Hitler did not trust his own generals. At first, he listened to them.
Generals, your report. The Eastern Front is stable, my Führer. I do not trust these reports.
But as victories piled up, he became convinced that his instincts were always correct. Slowly, he began interfering more and more in military planning. He overruled experienced commanders.
Mein Führer, the flanks in the east are exposed. Nonsense! Push forward! No retreats! But the risks, mein Führer.
He ordered armies to hold positions that should have been abandoned. He refused retreats that could have saved entire divisions.
The enemy is closing in. We cannot hold. There is no escape. We are surrounded.
Again and again, German generals warned him. And again, he ignored them. One of Hitler's first major mistakes came during the Battle of Britain. Germany needed to destroy the Royal Air Force before invading Britain. At first, the Luftwaffe focused on RAF airfields and radar stations. This strategy was working. British defenses were close to collapse. But then Hitler changed the target. Instead of continuing attacks on airfields, he ordered bombers to strike London. It was a political decision, not a strategic one.
Gentlemen, we march on Britain. Now. Mein Führer, the risks are too great.
This shift allowed the RAF to recover. Within weeks, Britain regained strength. The invasion of Britain was cancelled. Germany had lost its first major opportunity. In this alternate timeline, German generals convinced Hitler to stay focused.
Mein Führer, the panzer divisions must strike here. The British flank will collapse. The risks are great. Show me the air support.
They continue attacking RAF airfields relentlessly. Radar stations are destroyed. Airfields collapse. Pilots are exhausted, and aircraft numbers shrink. Within weeks, the Royal Air Force can no longer defend southern England. German aircraft dominate the sky. And with the RAF destroyed, the invasion of Britain becomes possible. Operation Sea Lion begins. German forces cross the Channel and land on British beaches. The battle for Britain begins not in the air, but on the ground. But the most important mistake of the war came in 1941, Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. Germany launched the largest invasion in history. Millions of soldiers pushed east across thousands of miles. The early victories were enormous. Entire Soviet armies were destroyed. Cities fell rapidly. The road to Moscow was open. But then the German advance slowed. Hitler began interfering again. Instead of focusing on Moscow, he split his armies. Some moved south toward Ukraine. Others continued east. This delay proved disastrous. Winter arrived. Soviet reinforcements counterattacked. The German army stalled, and the war in the east turned into a long, brutal struggle. In this alternate scenario, Germany's generals make a different decision. They focus everything on Moscow. The Soviet capital was the heart of the Soviet rail system, government, and communication network. If Moscow fell, the Soviet Union would struggle to coordinate its defenses.
The lines to the front are breaking down. Without orders, the capital will collapse.
German forces advance quickly before winter arrives. They capture the city. The political shock is enormous. Stalin evacuates east. The Soviet command structure collapses temporarily.
To the east, we regroup and strike back. Comrades, to the trains, quickly! Clear the way, secure the platform!
While the Soviet Union does not surrender immediately, its ability to fight effectively is severely weakened. Germany gains momentum that it never had in real history. One of the most disastrous battles of the war was Stalingrad. Hitler insisted on capturing the city for symbolic reasons. The battle became a brutal urban nightmare. German forces were eventually surrounded and destroyed. It was a turning point in the war, but better generals might have avoided it completely.
Gentlemen, we must redirect the panzers. This urban zone is a trap. Agreed. Flank through the open terrain to the north. A sound plan.
Instead of fighting house to house in Stalingrad, they could have focused on strategic objectives like oil fields in the Caucasus. Oil was critical for Germany's war machine. Without it, German tanks and aircraft struggled to operate. By capturing the oil fields first and avoiding the trap at Stalingrad, Germany could have preserved hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Germany also fought a massive naval war in the Atlantic. Submarines hunted Allied supply ships constantly. If Britain lost access to supplies from America, it could starve. German admirals believed that focusing heavily on submarine production early in the war could have crippled Allied shipping. But Hitler prioritized building large battleships instead. In this alternate timeline, German leadership fully commits to submarine warfare. Thousands of U-boats flood the Atlantic. Shipping losses skyrocket. Britain struggles to maintain supply routes, and the pressure on the island nation becomes enormous. Eventually, the United States still enters the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor. But by this time, the strategic situation is very different. Britain is weaker. Germany controls more territory in Europe. The Soviet Union is struggling after losing Moscow, and the Atlantic supply routes are extremely dangerous. America now faces a much stronger Axis alliance. Winning the war becomes far more difficult. Even with better generals, Germany would still face enormous challenges. The industrial power of the United States was massive. American factories produced ships, aircraft, and vehicles at incredible speeds. But wars are not decided only by production numbers. They are also decided by strategy, timing, and leadership.
The Reich's grip on Europe is absolute. Our victories have bumped onto battlefield. Dominance is assured.
And with better leadership, Germany might have turned early victories into long-term dominance. World War II was filled with moments where a single decision changed everything. A delayed attack, a refused retreat, a poorly chosen target. Many of Germany's defeats were not caused by weak soldiers or poor equipment. They were caused by leadership mistakes, and if those mistakes had been avoided, the war might have unfolded very differently. Because sometimes the difference between victory and defeat is not strength, it's leadership, and history can change dramatically when the wrong person is giving the orders.
Gentlemen, the hour demands action. Mobilize all reserves to the eastern front.
And the western flank?